Hi, my name is Justin Postel, and welcome to my personal global leadership analysis of the country of Spain. In the following presentation, we will do a contextual overview of the country of Spain, talk about some of their cultural influences on their leadership, or a major cultural influence on their leadership, their business practices and organizational influences, what I think the future of their leadership could hold, and then my personal analysis on the country of Spain, and then we'll conclude it with my final thoughts. I chose to do my analysis on the country of Spain because I was fortunate enough to be able to visit the city of Barcelona in October, and I really just had a huge impact on me from that city. I really enjoyed spending a short amount of time there. Not only that, I'm a huge soccer fan, football they call it over there, and Barcelona has one of the biggest teams in the world. Home of team of Lionel Messi. So I really just enjoyed the people there and the culture and the architecture and how it kind of combined the new with the old. And the city was just really pretty. Now, of course, there's lots of other places in Spain besides Barcelona. So I include a little short video here that kind of shows some of the other aspects of Spain. Country of Spain is obviously located in Europe. Country of Spain is obviously located in Europe. It is surrounded by the countries of Portugal and France. And the country of Spain, the primary nationalities in Spain are Spanish people. 12.3% make up the rest of the group, with a slight population of Romanian and Moroccan. The most popular language is Spanish, followed by a Galician and Catalan dialect, but it's mainly Spanish speaking. And I will say, from visiting Barcelona, especially in the major cities, almost everybody knew English. The country of Spain has been around for a long time, since pre-Roman era times. So there's been plenty of leaders that have had influence on Spain. But I chose to highlight the latest, probably the most influential as far as modern times, and that would be the dictator Francisco Franco, who ruled up until 1975 and his death. After his death, Spain developed a democratic form of government and has pretty well flourished since then. When Francisco was in power, he ruled with a very authoritarian style of leadership, obviously with monarchs. He kept them out of World War II, where they remained neutral, but they still had strong ties towards the Axis powers. I also included a short little video to kind of give you a background on Francisco Franco, so we'll show that now. The two main organizational influences on leadership in Spain is that Spain is a very relationship-based style leadership. People like to work face to face and deal one-on-one with each other. And it's also very hierarchical. Rank is very important. I've included a short little video about how listening is very important in Spain, and how the act of listening kind of builds towards that relationship style of leadership and communication in business. As far as business practices and organizational influences on leadership in Spain, the political atmosphere has really had a deep impact on leadership in Spain. Obviously, when it was a dictatorship, there was there was a very authoritarian style of leadership. As far as business practices and organizational influences on leadership in Spain, the political atmosphere has really had a deep impact on leadership in Spain. Obviously, when it was a dictatorship, there was there was a very authoritarian style of leadership that spread throughout the country. But since the democracy change in 1970. Other influences on leadership in Spain are, as I've mentioned before, it's very hierarchical country, so they really respect rank and levels. Meetings are, and then they're also very communication based, so they like peer-to-peer meetings whenever possible. But it's also an indirect country, so they like to avoid conflict, or they like to do things in a very indirect manner, as you can see by the slide shown. So I mentioned this slide because Spain has also been known, or been kind of constrained as being a very masculine leadership. But after the fall of the dictatorship in 1975, again, had a huge impact switching to democracy. Equality in the workplace has grown and become more egalitarian for women throughout the country. There are still some lingers of the effects of living in the dictatorship in Spain, and that is that some of the challenges would be of the surrounding the ethics of business in Spain. There are still some very opportunistic people in Spain that take advantage of certain situations, and that's with a lot of person to person or a social kind of interactions. You do get a lot of people who favoritism and have small frameworks or small groups of people that can influence the way business goes. So there are challenges of, I won't say corruption, but kind of in that same realm. The future of leadership in Spain I find exciting, and that's kind of another reason why I was glad to be able to analyze this country. And that's why it's such an important event after the dictatorship fall and the change to democracy. The Spanish economy is growing, unemployment is down, equality is going, and actually I like the research I found where they did real-time tracker of income equality, and the income equality has actually declined and is better than the United States, way better than the United States. So it seems like the leadership that is of the country of Spain and the leadership in the businesses are taking the country in the right direction. So to develop a personal analysis on a country like of Spain, me being a kind of a cognitive thinker and a preparer, I would ask myself some simple questions going into that situation. Things like, how does the relationships matter? How does the hierarchy matter? What kind of teamwork? Are they more individual or teamwork approached? And in viewing Spain and looking at the history and what I've read about Spain, I would really need to change my leadership style to be more emotional and more connection and more personal than being more direct and more, as I kind of do things, more direct and more emotionless. I would seek to kind of build relationships with subordinates or even other leaders. And I would want to also make sure, I know Spain has been around a long time and I know their culture means a lot to them, so I would do a lot of research on understanding and respecting their culture. And I think probably one of the biggest things to do would be to learn Spanish, since the majority of the country speaks it. So the more I research Spain and learn more about it, the more interested I am in it. And I really think their improvements in their business and their economy and their investments in manufacturing and tourism and architecture, and especially renewable energy. I think that's a huge, they're actually leading the world on that charge. I think Spain's got a lot going for it, and I think it makes it very attractive to look for work there and to look for leadership opportunities. I would definitely go into Spain with some research and learning more about the culture and the different dialects and different subcultures from north of Spain to south of Spain. And wherever, if I were to get an opportunity to lead over there, wherever I would have that opportunity, I would definitely do some research there. But it seems like a very exciting country that is headed forward. And I think one of the most impressive things to me is that it looks like a country that respects its history, but embraces change and looks to the future, or looks forward to developing its future instead of trying to look backwards. And that's my presentation. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen, and that's my presentation. I want to thank you for taking